try, and the important thing is keep reviewing your resume. Why we shared with you so many links here just now is that you can see from the various links. All right, there's so many types of resumes that it takes practice to pick out your skills relevant to the job. And very importantly, I think especially when you start applying for a job as a senior, you already have your skill set, you already have it, but you may not even be aware of it. And that's why we showed you the skills matrix just now. Spend some time, look at it, the jobs that you were doing, the skills that you applied, and then start, compiling this. You may even want to check with your colleagues. Sometimes you'll be very surprised at the skills that people see in you that you are not even aware of. Check with your colleagues, with your friends, and then start doing this, and then relate this to the job, and how you present it is also another skill that comes with practice. But we have basically shared with you the simple a simple way of doing it to start you off.
Cool, thank you. I think this is sort of a follow-up question to the above. Will unique resumes like infographics, videos, or storytelling elements, etc., help make my resume stand out?
It may, depending on the job that you're applying for. All right. I think at one time, right, video clips were very popular, especially among the youngsters, the young graduates. No, it's very, very, it's very interesting. They spend a lot of time doing all this. But bear in mind, the recruiter is in a hurry, and the recruiter does not want to have to write notes for your particular one application. So imagine if the recruiter gets 100 video clips and has to write 100 notes, I don't think he'll be very amused. So unless your video clip comes with a brief summary, all right, it still needs to have something written, a brief summary for the recruiter. At the end of the day, right, even while we are selling ourselves, promoting ourselves in that sense, we need to make the job of the recruiter easier. The recruiter is always happy to receive a resume that from the top page, reading out your summary, the recruiter knows whether he needs to finish reading your resume or not, or at least to continue reading or not. That helps a lot. And even if your job, your summary, right, may not fit the job that this person is trying to fill at this moment, if you write a very interesting summary, chances are the person will remember. And when there is a suitable job for you that fits your summary, chances are the person will call you.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I remember video clips. I think there are still some companies that actually still require a video submission alongside a resume.
Yes, it depends very much on the job that you're applying for.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. The next question is, what are immediate turnoffs for recruiters? I think you might have mentioned a few already, so maybe do you want to do a quick summary of, in your experience as a recruitment director, what are some of the turnoffs?
Okay, I mentioned just now. Although we keep saying that facts that you put in is very important, but visual effects are also important. So try to make sure that your font size is easy read for the recruiter. I know we mentioned try and keep your resume to 2 pages. So some people will say 2 pages, but I've got so much to write. So they squeeze it and they make it to size 9, 10. It's very hard to read. I can assure you the recruiter's not going to read that. Especially if you send it in hard format, right? Maybe if you do it in soft format and you don't PDF it, chances are the recruiter may actually still read it, even if PDF, I suppose. But that make it easy read, and don't clutter it too much. You need to arrange your storyline. So in between, it's like if you fall why we shared the various formats is because if you think you want to do a chronological resume, keep it that way. Follow the chronological order. We sometimes see resumes where the person can't quite decide, right? And they still don't want to do a combo. So it, there may be gaps, instead of doing a serial number of the years, then there will be jumps, and then suddenly, the in-between years is at the bottom. I hope you understand. I'm communicating in there. So things like this is not going to be, it's not going to help.
Right.
At the end of the day, the resume must also be able to tell the reader that you have thought through what you want to say. All right. It's a chance, like I mentioned, it's a chance for you to showcase your skills, a chance for you to show your personality and why you are best for the job.
Okay. Thank you. Another one, sort of similar to the last question. What is the expectation from a recruiter these days?
As in, uh,
I guess what recruiters are looking out for, because I think my previous question was what sort of turnoffs, what are the turnoffs for recruiters? But now the question is in reverse. So what exactly do you look out for as a recruiter?
okay, I think assuming everything else being equal, as in, if a recruiter has about 3 people with the same type of qualifications, almost similar experience, the things that they'll be looking out for would be soft skills. Attitude to the job is very important. Attitude stands out much higher than skills these days, simply because skills are things that you can develop, but attitude is something that you bring with you to the job. And yes, definitely attitude. But again, attitude is hard for them to pick up just through an interview. So sometimes that's why they have all these assessment tools to help them. And why you have situational interviews, all these, we call them competency interviews, behavioral interviews. They just want to know, how will you respond in such a situation, and how are you the type that complain? Are you the type that will take on a challenge and say, let's do it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yes, it really depends on the job as well. If you're applying, let's say if you're applying for a job in healthcare, certainly they want you to be careful. They want you to exercise gentleness, that kind of thing, and it has to show in how you respond to various situations. If you are applying for I don't know, maybe accounting job, they may want you to make sure that you're meticulous, you're able to check your figures, you are very clear about certain things, to follow certain regulatory requirements. So yeah, it really depends on the job. But if I have to say, overall, everything being equal, qualifications are there, experience there, then definitely attitude. And
Okay.
that would be something that they will try and get out of you during the interview.
That's great. It's an important reminder for others who are, in current employment. So maybe attitude would be quite an interesting um, thing to improve on. So I've got two more questions. If you are asked why you resigned from your last post, what do you say if the main reason you left was due to poor work-life balance? How do you respond without complaining?
Okay, I think it's quite acceptable if you say that, oh, because of work-life balance. You see, it's again how we communicate to the to the interviewers. You could say that you had to leave because you were finding it difficult managing work as well as challenges of work and your life, I mean home life. And then you should actually explain why. Sometimes it's simply because it's not wrong, there have been companies that overload their staff and they have to work extremely long hours. It's fine, but you have to explain. You don't just leave it and say, oh, because of work-life balance, and you stop there. That's not going to help you. You have to justify why. For example, if someone's been working in accounts and they say, I found that I had to work from like maybe 8:30 to 11:30 every night, and this is despite the fact that the reports are all in order, but there's simply insufficient manpower, and all kinds of things. You could actually elaborate on this without complaining too much, because you can say we couldn't afford additional manpower for various reasons, but you had to. It's okay to say you left because you wanted work-life balance. It's fine. I think especially when you are looking at seniors, right? It's fine. We have placed many seniors in jobs where they openly say, hey, I don't want to be stuck in traffic jam. And the boss say it's okay, you can come in to work at 10 o'clock. But that's only because you bring with you certain skills that the boss wants, that the company wants. And there's some form of compromise along the way. Right? It depends on the culture of the company as well.
That's good. I think it should generally be acceptable to kind of say, like you mentioned, there are some companies who actually do not have that work-life balance, and for people who aspire to have work-life balance, they should be able to kind of be honest about it, lah. So this is the last question. For someone who has over 20 to 30 years of experience, how far back should I go with my resume?
From the time when you start, but the focus should be on the recent years, which means you tell more. Remember the storytelling part? You tell more about your recent years, because you can't be telling all 30 years. You can't put that in in 2 pages. So for example, let's say 30 years. So let's move back. So let's say you started work in 1990. All right, you would obviously be talking about your work from 2021 and spend more time on your task, on your responsibilities for the first, maybe for the last 10 years or so. And maybe your first job, you may just say, okay, from what year to what year, what were you? Maybe you were let's say, if you were in engineering, then maybe you were an engineer when you started.
Right.
All right, a junior engineer. Okay, maybe from 1990 to 1993, junior engineer. Then and maybe just list of projects, maybe 1 or 2 major projects that you assisted in, and maybe from 93 to 2000, you were doing, maybe senior engineer or something like that. And you may just, but name the companies you were with. But the most recent ones, you should talk more about your actual work. How did you, get things done, your tasks, your achievements. That's very important.
Great. Okay, I think that wraps up our Q&A. Yeah, no more questions. I think we've cleared that. Thank you so much, Siew, for your guidance
Thank you very much.
and for taking us through the questions today. We hope everyone here had something useful to take away from today's session. The slides will be sent to you after the event. You can access a recording of the webinar on our website and social media platforms after, where you can also learn more about community living and wellness. So make sure to also check out our next session happening this Saturday with Homegrown Farms. Registration is still open. Next week also we've got choosing happiness and next generation cellular therapy. So a bit of a science topic to tackle next week. And don't forget to fill out the post-event form. Right after this, you will stand a chance to win a free one-night stay with breakfast at Komune Living Bangsar South or F&B vouchers to be used at Komune Cafe Bangsar South. I think we're all good here. Thank you again, Siew, and thank you
Thank
everyone
you,
else for
Christina.
coming. Until then, have a great week ahead and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Hey, Sia! Hey, Tracy! What are you doing here?
Wah, Cipa kasih dia.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
What have you been doing?
Lai, I show you my secret place.
Begin your senior living journey with us. Let's live a happier, healthier life together.